Okay, this is a quick video review of the FiiO X5 DAP. It's a iPod on steroids, pretty much. I've had it for a couple months now, and I think I can give some opinions on it. I have mine strapped to a can right now, so if you had yours, it would not be. I'm not going to take this all apart just for the video. The top, you would have your coaxial out, your line out, and your headphone out. So I'm using my line out, which is passing the audio signal but not amping it, and I'm passing that to the amp, and that's how I'm running that. Volume buttons are on the side right here. They're very nice. Got no problems with that. The power button is on the top, position is fine. The issue that a lot of people have with this, and they are absolutely correct, is this. Mine is basically, the Japanese version has like a texture to it, but this is basically smooth rubber. Mine, anyway. It's got buttons which you can these are accurate, though they do seem to not initiate what they're supposed to do. I hear a click, but it doesn't do what it doesn't do the action it's supposed to do. This wheel is, I don't want to say horrible, but I modified my X5 partly because of the icons that I was skipping by. It just used to freak me out because it was so hard to select stuff that, you know, modifying it became something that had to get done ASAP. Put that down. Another thing that some people complained about was the fact that the bottom, which is, this is where you charge it, these TF cards have rubber. They don't like this. They think there should have been something a little more heavy duty. I kind of agree, but I got to tell you, before I realized that I didn't have to take the card out, when I was doing my theme, I took this out 60 times. Total is over 100, but recently I don't take the TF card out anymore. But I opened and closed this 50 times. I don't know why anybody would think they had a problem with that, because you just drag and drop stuff on your computer. You don't need to worry about that. There's no reason to even take that card out. You can format while it's plugged in. You can delete files from the device. You can delete files when it's in File Explorer on Windows. You just plug this thing in, and it's the same as anything else that you plug into Windows. It just shows up as a storage device if it's selected as storage. So I've seen pictures of this on the net with a big red X on that saying that they really didn't like this, and I think that's being a bit anal. If you're dumb and you've got thumbs all over your hands, I can see it being an issue, but for a normal person, reasonably normal person, I can't see why that would be a problem. Other side, there's a reset button somewhere, but I'm not really sure exactly where that is. I've not ever resetted, and so, to be kind, I have flashed the firmware so many times, and I've had the screen stuck a couple times, but I've just held this button down up here. This button, I've held this down for 10 seconds, and it just reboots it, and then I redrop my firmware. So I use this in a really strenuous way for the device, because I'm constantly changing the firmware, the basic set of instructions for the device, and I've not had any problems to report. Like I said, the scroll wheel is I'm going to turn this on. Now this is a custom theme, so I thought I should change this because if you're going to do a video review of a device, you should use the stock GUI. No, you can use your smartphone that you're holding right now or your computer and Google X5, and you'll see pictures of the. Or there might be other reviews right above me or below me on HeadFi that got pictures of it. So I don't think you need to see that. I switched it to a full screen, so when you rotate, this fixes the icon skip thing for me. Inside the firmware of this, there are multiple files that rotate the main image, and then there are in-between ones, like that keep the image down here before it gets up to the spot it's supposed to be. That maybe allows it to appear like it skips, because since I've changed it to this kind of a full screen thing, I'm really not getting issues like that. I can select stuff. I guess I still sometimes get a funny thing where, like, now I'm pushing it up and up, 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 and it comes from the bottom. If I go down, it comes to the top, down, 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 back to the top. So one of the side benefits of this mod, speaking of themes and mods, there's a couple that have been made by other users that are very similar to like an Apple device. Very, 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 very simple. There's one recent one called Solar. I'm sorry, that's not what it's called. I don't know. I'll write it on the part that I do the review in. It's about as simple visually as a Apple device. So you can the wheel issue can be taken care of, it seems like, with a firmware tweak by changing it to one of the themes that are more simple, and the person has removed the in-between files, the left, right. It brings up the icon as I rotate. The stock GUI is okay. I thought it was not matching for a $350, $400 DAP. I really didn't. I bought this partly because of some of the users in a theme were modifying it, and I like to get my hands dirty, so I thought that was one of the selling points. So I kept my theme on here to show you can do whatever you want to this. I'm not good with. I didn't even have PaintNet on my computer until I started getting into wanting to change this, and now it's customized to exactly the way that I want it. And everybody in that theme is doing the same thing. So one of the strong sell points of the X5, in my opinion, that's better than the X1 and 3, if the size is what it looks like it's going to be, which is like a X1, is the fact that you can do all this stuff on a screen that's a little bit larger. And I think the X5 is still going to be more powerful than the X3 V2, just on low and high gain, running into 32 ohms. So I use an amp configuration because I'm a bass head. However, cans like the 70mm MA900s are classic. We're very, very open back, very wide stage sound, and the X5 sounds very, very nice on it. I also use bass cannons. I mean, super bass cannons. So I have different headphones with different genre. This takes care of it pretty well. There's something, however, that should be noted. This is an EQ that I made. 0 dB. Anything above 0 dB using an amp or high gain of this device gives off uncomfortable, rough sound in the highs that I didn't get with something like a Cowan, which is now playing with the E12. This is the backup set. This is my main set because it is a nice set. However, some of the presets are still in here. So if I go to that's not mine. This is one of theirs, by the way. It's named something else. I don't know what it is. This one. These are in the orange area and up near the red, and they sound like it too. This does not sound good with the EQ engaged and the sliders raised. Everything has to be dropped. So, for example, that's not mine. I have no idea what the hell that is. This is a bass. So for a bass slam, everything has to be dropped all the way down to -6, and only the bass is elevated. And as you can see, it's still only in the, it's really not, it's just around 2. Going higher than that is going to bring on distortion or diminish the quality of the sound. Q6, I want to get my rock. This was made using the MA900s, which are really, I know people that own headphone shops and got the HD800s, and they love these because, see that open back right back there? It's huge, and it's 70 millimeters, and it's very light, and it really plays back acoustics and vocals really well. It's a nice set of cans, so I use those to make the rock EQ, not the bass head cans. And this is what I came up with after listening to, Fleetwood Mac, Jerry Rafferty, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, just lots and lots of stuff that's turned out to be, and everything is below 0. I'm going off a low gain. I wouldn't do high gain because no way. And that's if this device wasn't using an amp. This is quite, one of the benefits of this is that it's quite powerful as a DAP. And it's got enough juice for most all headphones, except for the really power hungry ones. And you need an amp, and it's got no problem integrating with the amp. But that EQ, there's been people that say, for example, this is their default, this is just crazy, and that's their V, and this is off. I actually don't like the off sound. It sounds harsh. Ever since the 2.4 firmware, it sounds rough, so I don't know. Everything is below 0 except the bass, and that's only barely above, and I did a video about bass, and this is exactly this is the one. And the only things that are above are, you can't do bass head type stuff with this DAP unless you do something like this, and you also have something with a bass switch, like a can or the E12. Then you can be a bass head with this thing. Otherwise, this doesn't do it. There's not enough response gap between here and here to really get that bass. But if you drop everything down to 0, so somebody said before, if you raise everything up and then cut, no way. You drop everything down and then start to slowly raise stuff. Put the volume at a reasonable listening, whether you're using this or an amp, and then start to adjust from the bottom up, not the up down, because you will get that's no good. It didn't work good with 70 millimeter open backs. It didn't work good with 55 millimeter closed bass head cans. This worked good, and this worked good. So, and I made this EQ myself. So one of the good things about this is you can do, or you can just get a free theme from somebody else. So sound-wise, I think it sounds a little bit rough in the highs, but if you're good with an EQ, you can take care of that. Does it matter if it's low or high gain? Of course it does, but it also depends on the cans. Generally speaking, I think the sound is a little rough in the highs, and I think the presets on the EQs I think they're ridiculous. They're very strange. They're like 2-band cut EQs. They don't make any sense, and I've listened to them repeatedly, and I don't know where they came up with that. So consider the preset EQs to be kind of like a starting point for you. Those are not, classical don't listen to classical with the classical preset. Make your own. The EQ doesn't seem like something that was really considered too much. So that would be a negative to this. About value, is this worth it? Let's say it together like when we were in university. The value of an item is determined by the amount another is willing to pay for it, right? Exactly. So is this worth $350, $400? Apparently, because a lot of people are buying it. Do I think it's worth it? I bought it, and I'm not complaining about it. It's a good device. It's strong. I have the E12, so I'm a fan. This got usurped by the Can recently, but it is strong. It's stout. These buttons are nice and very tactile. The placement of everything is fine. The screen resolution is good. The only complaint is the wheel. A firmware update should probably never fix that, because I believe it's a hardware issue, and you could maybe adjust sensitivity with an algorithm, but you're still dealing with something that requires human touch, and it's not done in the same way as an iPod. So change your theme. All you got to do is download it and drag and drop it into your music. Drive it into the root folder, which is like where all the folders are where the music is, but not into a music folder, just into an open area. Let it eject it, and then hold this button and hold this button and keep holding them and holding them and holding them and holding them, and then you'll see update start, and then let go, and it'll update itself and reboot. And then later on, when you open it up to check your songs, you delete the song. You delete the file that says X5, because you don't need it once it's been updated into the X5. So value-wise, like I said, was it worth it to jump up from a Cowan, which is basically the same as a J3 and has jet effects and all kinds of stuff? This has a better. This just sounds nice. This is a good device. I like it a lot. I'm happy with the purchase. It plays very well with the amplifier. With cans like the MA900, I actually don't even need an amp. I just configure it like this because I'm a bass head, so I use an amp. I have 2 sets that I use amps with. So these buttons, click. This clicks. This wheel rolls. You've got TF cards at the bottom. People say they don't like this. I say relax. I've opened it 50 times, and I've played with the TF card tons and tons of times. So, I like it. The only complaint that I would have would be the scroll wheel, but my theme and others in the theme section kind of fix that, because they drop out some of the files that came with the FiiO X5 stock, and it seems to be a little quicker, or it's a placebo, but I don't think so. I think it's related to some of the files that were dropped because they weren't necessary. It's beautiful. It's kind of heavy, but I like stout. I said before that you could take the E12 and use it as a self-defense weapon. You could do the same with this one. Hold it in your hand and bam, it's a brick with a screen, and this is a brick with a knob, the E12. So it's nice. You can customize it, do whatever you want. You can make custom shutdown screens. Do whatever you want. Make it, personalize it to the way that you like it. It's quite powerful. Doesn't need an amp, but again, I'm a bass head, so I do need an amp. Price-wise, is it worth the jump? I would think so. It seems like FiiO is quite active in the market right now, and I got this amp for a good price, so I trusted FiiO, and I got no reason to complain. It's my money. I wanted the X1 originally, but I got the X5, and I'm pleased. I'm glad to have the bigger one. So it's recommended. It's worth the price. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and visit the thread if you want to download a theme. It's uber easy, and some of them are iPod-like in their simplicity. So if you really want to go simple, there's some very, very, very simple themes that'll get you back to feeling like you're comfortable, like with a very iPod-ish, very, very simple click and go type of thing. Not like this one. So that's the end of the review. Is it worth the money? Like I said, if you got to ask that, you probably don't have the money for something. Same as they say about a car. If you got to ask how much something costs, you probably shouldn't be buying it. But it's Head 5, so people are buying stuff and selling stuff all the time. So I got to add one more thing. Astel and Kern, the 100 version, or 120. I heard this with my Rock EQ preset without the amp attached, and I heard the AK, and I listened to the 900s, and I listened to a couple songs, and I'll be honest with you that I got this for $350, and the AK is, I don't know how much. Go check it out. This FiiO gives a very good product at a very fair price. And when I heard the Astel Kern, I thought, this is where you get to the placebo level. I didn't like the design. I didn't like the price at all. $350, $400. This is well worth it. Highly recommended. The wheel, deal with it. Everything's got an issue. And besides that, there are none. So I'll give it 4 stars on the review.